So my friend Andy Sly and I just did a video comparing FSD Beta to Kama AI's Autopilot. And if you want to see that, it's over on his channel, Andy Sly, link in the description, so be sure to check it out. But for my video, I just wanted to cover the FSD Beta portion of it, where I drive his Tesla for the first time. I've never driven a Tesla, never used Autopilot, so I'm using FSD Beta as my first experience in a Tesla. I thought it'd be really interesting to just show kind of the longer form version of that. So here it is. Let me know what you think. At the end of the video, I'm just going to give some of my thoughts on the overall experience. And that's it. Here we go.
Do you have any questions before we actually?
I think I know all the controls. We ran them down briefly. So
Yeah, you know how to do.
And I've at least watched some FSD videos. So I kind of know what to expect, but I haven't experienced it.
So I guess just the biggest thing I'll tell you is just as long as you know that how to enable autopilot, you know how to do that double tap down.
Yeah.
To disengage, it's either brake, you can turn the wheel, or you can tap up on the right stalk. Now, just and for you, and for me, not even for you, just for everybody, I've noticed with FSD Beta, it's just make sure you have a hand on the wheel, that it notices your hand on the wheel.
Yeah.
But you can also, for when it's making turns and stuff,
let it slide through your hands. You can just
kind of let it go through. Yeah. And just every now and then, after it makes a successful turn, I just do give it a tiny little nudge so that it resets the timer, So
yeah, so
it also is using the interior camera as well. So we should be good because you're not going to be on your phone. Yeah, as long as you see the, we'll get on this road and then you can enable it. So, yep. And this is
so double tap. So now we're on FSD.
Yep. And this road, we just came down this road and it has a dumpster on the side. And
I already want to slow it down.
Right.
I feel like it's
me too.
going.
Yeah, it's going. You can bump it down to 20 if you want. Yep. I watched this trailer. Yep. You would have been fine, but yeah, I totally.
Not my car.
Right.
And I think for anyone watching, we're probably going to disengage more than what other people would.
Yeah.
Because neither of us. See, this is what.
See, it wants to take a left. It wants to turn its turn signal on.
It's really confused here. It's
now
stopping.
You can
so
give it a tiny bit of acceleration
gas.
if you want.
It's kind of going on its own. I didn't really touch the gas. It figured it out. But it was definitely confused there.
Yeah, that should not have turned on the turn signal.
So Autopilot gets confused there too, but it usually just cuts the corner. And I'm not touching the wheel enough, so I feel like I should.
Now, this one, it stops really early.
Yeah, very early. Luckily, no one's behind us, but it's clear.
It's clear, and it just goes. And we.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of touch the wheel while I. Okay.
It wants you to touch pretty frequently when it's on FSD Beta, especially when it's doing turns. But back there, I gave it a little bit of a acceleration this morning because I drove that route with FSD Beta.
Right, it does want to go kind of wide to take the turn. It's
yes.
kind of odd. But it is kind of good because people cut the corner too, so.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yep.
Nope.
So it wanted to cut that person off. And that's another thing, with unprotected left turns is the craziest part of FSD.
It felt like it was just going to go for it.
Yep.
So.
It was going to cut right in front of that person, so.
All right, we'll just re-enable it right here. Whoops, I'm hitting the wrong thing.
Down, double tap down.
Double tap down.
There you go.
There we go. I don't know if I left the turn signal on or it thinks it's turning. Okay, it's confused here too.
It stopped way too early.
It's creeping.
Now we have traffic coming from the left, so it's obviously good. It should stop for that.
It's creeping. Should see that, right?
Yes, it's definitely seeing the cars.
It's turning the wheel a lot.
It's just jerking. Now, if you want to on this, you might want to give it some acceleration.
If there's traffic. I don't see, there's no one coming, so it should be, and it's kind of ready.
Yeah, it's going so slow.
It's going slow. I'm going to have to give it some gas.
There you go. I've noticed that.
And then it takes off. Holy.
So yeah, that's what I've noticed.
So it changes speed.
Give it a slight nudge on the wheel.
Sorry. It changes speed on its own when the speed limit changes, right?
Correct. based on my settings.
Okay,
I have 5 set over automatically.
So when it sees or it recognizes a different road, it's going to go ahead and set my max speed, but I can always come back and override it and drop it down.
You can always override it, and I've noticed, with FSD Beta, I should probably change it to speed limit. And we got a biker right here.
A Cyclist, it sees it, and it is running wide. That's really good.
That is the thing with FSD.
And now it's kind of phantom braking.
Yep.
But there is this tree. See, we'll have to hurry and come back so we get similar lighting, because this is like very confusing lighting for vehicles.
And if you didn't watch the old video, highly recommend watching our previous video, because we took this road last time. Give it a slight nudge on the wheel.
Oh yeah, I'm bad at. I don't remember that.
Oh, now you disengage too much. It's very touchy. Yeah.
It's very touchy.
Oh, okay, so now it's going in the lane. So this is
no turn signal.
This is a 2-lane highway, and it went to the left lane automatically without.
It could have been just because I engaged it too, and it was just kind of.
And because
unsure of where I was, because I didn't have the car maybe perfectly positioned. Well, now it's switching lanes
without turn signal. So it just broke the law. But no, we took this road last time, but going the opposite way. So, with that Cyclist, it was interesting because with FSD Beta, that's one of the biggest difference between that and Autopilot that we used last time, is that it actually will move over around objects, and it will avoid certain pedestrians and stuff like that. And Autopilot never did do that. It would just either, if it saw something, it would brake really hard, or you had to disengage.
I mean, my impression so far, and just thinking of this from a challenge, is I'm comfortable with it on roads. It's intersections, and complex intersections is just where you're crossing traffic. Anytime there's traffic coming to an interchange, that's where it heightens your stress levels a little bit, and and that's one of the things that makes, I think, Autopilot just feel a lot. Yeah, it's not as capable, but you take over all that complicated stuff, and right now it's great. I feel comfortable, it handles it well, but obviously this is the easiest stuff, just following cars in lane.
Yes, I mean, this is and for the viewers who don't know, FSD Beta is its own separate stack of software. Tesla's objective is to combine all of them into one single stack. So Autopilot, that's normal Autopilot, that's not FSD Beta, it works really well on when it sees lanes, clear lane markings, and just on highways, stuff like that. But this is a separate single stack. It definitely has. It feels like more of a slight regression compared to what I've been using up until now, because it has more phantom braking. It's more it does. I mean, you can tell that it's making more decisions on its own. So we have a runner right here.
It sees it,
and see how it sees it and moves over. So it's a completely different stack of software, and you can I can tell. Now here's a yellow light,
and we're going.
And it made it.
It saw it.
Yeah. It does really, really well with yellow lights. Honestly, I've never been kind of scared of it running a yellow light or missing a yellow light. But yeah, it is a different experience. But this is your first time driving it, so it's just it would be nice for you to experience non-FSD Beta as well, because that's more on par of what Autopilot is now.
And I guess when we do the interstate section, it'll kind of be more or less navigate on Autopilot.
Now it's going to swerve into.
And it just picks. So it wasn't really sure. It couldn't see because of the car ahead.
Yeah, and that's actually more smooth.
That was pretty good.
That's smoother than what Autopilot used to do. Because if you came up to that, Autopilot would have just swerved pretty hard, I think, into one of those lanes.
I think in there it's going wide, but it's correcting. But it's kind of an unnatural route. Another nice thing I think about Teslas, and this will be the uncomfortable thing with my car since now I have the Highlander, is you have good visibility, and you can really see the edges of your car. So when you're letting FSD Beta do its thing, I feel comfortable being able to judge how far away I am from other cars and stuff. In the Highlander, it's a little bit bigger now, so you have a little bit less visibility of curbs and stuff. So don't feel bad if you take control, because it is harder to see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're used to this thing, so you have great visibility.
Right.
And then you'll be having a hood
in my way. Yeah, because here I mean, you can pretty much see like almost the road, give it a slight nudge.
Yep, there you go. Again, I'm not used to it.
Oh yeah, it's
just.
And with the, like I mentioned before, they're starting to implement the cabin camera as well. So not only does it require a hand on the wheel periodically, but if you look down, if you look down on your cell phone with FSD Beta, it'll do the same thing. It's going to alert you. It's going to say, "Hey, pay attention to the road," which is nice. I mean, it's actually making me pay more attention.
Right.
And then so yeah, you can always with Autopilot or with FSD. And
so yeah, that's a similar problem. It kind of it's more, and there we kind of slowed down for that car, I think. It's definitely more cautious, and here we're braking a little early, but see, like here I'd be accelerating. I'm just gonna let it do its thing a little bit. It's interesting.
Yep, but it seems like it was really extra cautious.
Very cautious around other cars, and I feel like it's model confidence. It started slowing down immediately, so that was very good.
Yep. And then also you can check your follow distance. Okay, so it's set to 2, which is the minimum you can do with FSD Beta, and that's not really car length. That's more of a time-based system.
Right, it's time-based. Yeah.
I don't know the exact time of how it's calculated, but it goes up all the way up to like is it 7 or 10 or something? I can't remember, but I usually live on 2, but because you saw it, that's pretty.
It's pretty comfortable, yeah. So when you're sitting at a light like this, does it require like a hand touch every once in a while, or is
not
it
as frequently?
Complain?
Yeah, so like, yeah, you can leave it off, and now as soon as you start going, pretty quickly afterwards, it'll ask you to give it a little nudge, but.
The reaction time's really good.
Yep, and you can see, I love this expanded view with FSD Beta. It's what we don't see it gives us. So as soon as you
see, sometimes I feel like I've given it a touch and it doesn't seem happy enough.
Yeah,
it's a very fine balance that I guess once you get used to it, you're kind of used to it. But
what I do is I try to like just leave my hand on the bottom of the wheel. That usually will do it, but also with FSD Beta, especially with recording, I like to kind of just show what the wheel's doing. Yeah, so that's
the route we want to go.
So basically. Now on the way back, we wanted to hop on the interstate. It's a different way back, but so yeah, now we just changed it on it, so now it needs to be in the right lane. So let's see how it handles it.
Yeah, we threw a curveball. Well, we did it early enough. It's got a few intersections, but it's got a lot of traffic too. It's pretty congested here.
Now, preferably, I'd probably have it set to assertive, or because it's going to be it's on average right now, so it's going to try to get into the lane.
It's braking quite a bit.
We have. Give it a slight nudge on the wheel there. And you can turn on turn signal if you wanted to, but if you want to just let it do its thing, you can.
I'll let it do its thing for now. The interesting thing about the alert is it's silent. Like, I feel like I would like...
It starts out visual, then it'll give you an audible.
It'll give you an audible before it cancels, okay.
But you don't want to let it... You want to get... Especially on FSD Beta, because they will kick you out if you get too many, like, audible alerts, because it'll blink. It'll start blinking blue, and it's hard to miss.
Yeah.
But if you miss that and it starts doing audible, it'll tell you to take over.
See, like here, we would definitely.
So now,
well, it thought about changing lanes.
It should have done it way earlier.
Yeah. Now it's coming into a lot of traffic, and it's going to have a hard time. And it's just delaying because it doesn't really. It's interesting because we know it's going to be even harder the further we go down. But
right.
It can't.
So now it's turn signal, and it's
very confusing. It's done it 2 or 3 times now.
And sometimes it'll break the law. It'll change lanes at an intersection. So you got to watch it. But yeah, it should be. It should have its turn signal on right now.
So it may just have to reroute itself. Which I don't want to stress it too bad on this because when you drive with Autopilot, you're just going to have to
do it yourself.
You're going to have to do it yourself. Yeah.
So okay.
Like I want to look like
like it totally just broke the law. It changed lanes
in the intersection,
in the middle of intersections. So I've noticed it. It's just I don't know why, and I don't know why it does that because you'd think it would just. I mean, I don't know.
And we're gonna have to change lanes again. I don't know if it's aware.
Yeah, it needs to be in the very right line.
We're not gonna make it.
Oh.
Well, it has its turn signal on, but
it could have.
We're 2 lanes away. I think I'm just gonna have to take over for it.
Now we can. Yeah, I mean, there's no way we can change. There's no way we can get on the interstate.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally.
Pretty hard if you're not aware of the congestion here, which it has traffic, so it kind of knows, it shows red, so it kind of knows that it's a congested area. But like I said, if we had it on from the beginning to like take the interstate, it probably would have stayed in that lane and not been all the way over here, because we had it at a destination on this side of the road, so it wanted to stay on this side of the road.
It still should have. It should have.
It took, it
changed like
it only made it over one lane and a few intersections. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing too. I have it set to not exit the passing lane. However, with Autopilot Navigate on Autopilot, when you're on the interstate, it wants to get if it's coming up on the exit that it needs to take, it wants to get over like really early, like 3 miles before. So now it's
just gonna sit.
It's gonna sit and try to like.
Yeah, it's really insistent.
Oh.
I'm gonna take over.
Yeah, go ahead. Take over. That's fine.
We'll go do a turnaround.
Now take the ramp on the right toward Interstate 64.
Well, do you want to just leave it in the destination and see what it like?
Yeah, I'll let it reroute itself. But like that truck didn't look like he cared to let us in, but Autopilot was sure it was gonna be able to make it. But it wants us to go the other way. But okay, now it's got us going back the way we want to go. So if I I disengaged, but it was still doing
traffic aware
cruise control.
Yeah, if you disengage FSD,
you're only falling
with
back.
the wheel, it'll keep traffic aware cruise control.
That person's flashing their lights to signal to us nicely, but Autopilot can't tell that, so. And now it's doing 2 and 1.
All right, okay. All right, we got the green arrow. We got the green arrow.
Turn arrow. I'm gonna nudge the wheel here. It sets up for the corner. That's an interesting mechanic.
It's super, it's very interesting. That's the word to say, yeah. Oh, and then we got somebody.
It's taking this turn.
What's it doing here?
It's doing a turnaround. We're doing this loop.
Oh, it's going down it's going to do this way. It's going to go this way.
Yeah, it's going around.
I guess that's...
It is very impressive. Like, it handled all that very well. Like, doing all the rerouting.
Yeah, I didn't think...
come into here.
I didn't think about going down like a neighborhood street, but yeah, it's doing it. Well, I mean, honestly, it better be good because it literally just missed its exit back there. So it's
making up for it.
Yeah. And then also, I guess this is all right turns, so I guess it's better than taking the left. Because I would if I was driving, I would have probably taken a left and gone back the other way. But maybe give it a slight nudge there. Yeah. It was blinking blue, but yeah, it's hard to get the hang of the.
Yeah, I just totally forget.
Yeah.
Like I have my hand here,
and it doesn't
for
detect
my
speed
own.
bumps either.
Yeah. It says.
I've heard that is coming, the speed bump recognition, but yeah, you'll get to experience sort of like I guess this is at a light, so.
Yeah, this is even better.
Yeah, it's.
For it.
It will turn. It turned pretty abruptly on a red light, right on red, like earlier. I was kind of surprised.
This is a hard road too. This is one of the hardest roads in town probably to take it on a Saturday.
Yes. We're right by the mall, so it should stop. Yeah.
So we can't go. So I'm gonna put my foot over the brake just in case it decides.
Yeah.
Because all this traffic is taking every lane basically. And my thing here is technically some of these cars are supposed to. No. Yeah. It's all every lane turns.
Let's see if it tries to take advantage of this opening because
So there's technically an opening. It's creeping.
Okay, I would have done that too. I wouldn't have. Now it should turn. I would turn right now if I would.
Yeah, we know we could turn now. It's
still seeing cars coming.
It's strange that the wheel is just going, but the car is not going. Okay, we're green.
Now we got the green light.
Now we have a green light, and it knows to stay in this lane. I mean, I can see why everyone is very impressed. It's impressive, but if I was actually driving somewhere, I don't know if
you'd have to be in the mindset of like, okay, I'm okay with.
But at the same time, it's easy to take over and just drive.
Right.
Like we've done that. I've done that a few times, so I think I would still use it quite a bit. But maybe if like if we're not doing a video like this, if it was just me driving and this was my car, I would just be more inclined to intervene a lot more, and that Tesla would probably prefer that.
Get a slight nudge to say.
That you, I'm glad you're.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're diligent.
No, I'm letting you, because it's hard to talk and like, especially when you're driving.
Well, it's just unnatural when it's driving correctly. It's unnatural to kind of tug the wheel.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's
and
fine.
I think that's like kind of. I think I would prefer them just go full in driver monitoring and just really watch people, and as long as people are watching the road.
Yeah, that's a good input, because that's how you've been driving.
Yeah, that's kind of how Autopilot's philosophy has always been, and also with Autopilot, see, we're just kind of slowing down. The wheel just did like kind of a vibration. Have you ever felt that?
So yeah, that is the indication of like it's about to change lanes.
Oh, okay.
So you have that's an option I have. It's set to vibrate only, so it'll vibrate, and you just kind of give it a little nudge to say, yeah, go ahead.
It did it anyway. I don't think I really gave it an input, but.
Okay. Yeah. So it just ran up to that wasn't your fault. I feel like that's done that to me. It's just like once it reaches higher speeds.
Check. Yeah. Interesting.
But this is. So now, this is back on.
One thing I do really like the auto speed adjustment. I think because Autopilot right now doesn't do that. You're gonna have to set speeds for every situation.
Okay. So this should automatically merge by itself.
And it's letting me know. I'm giving it a nudge.
Yeah.
It merged very late, but.
All right. Yeah, that was a little tricky, but
the one thing that is very different from Autopilot that you'll probably notice right away is how stiff the wheel is. Like when I'm nudging the wheel, it's very rigid feeling.
Okay.
Because of when Autopilot's in control, you can tell it has force on the wheel, like a lot of resistance to my input.
Okay.
And Autopilot is not like that. It just gives any input you give it, it's just going to take it.
Right. Yeah, this is like, it's in control of the wheel, so you kind of have to force it.
Yeah.
And you notice now that we're on the highway, the expanded view's gone, so now we're
in Navigate on Autopilot.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So you should notice more of a smoother ride, or like lane keeping, or and this is just like, this will just be normal to you. It's just, this is what we experienced last time, just pretty much standard lane assist. And you can also, if you haven't experienced it yet, you can do, if you initiate the turn signal, it'll do the
lane change.
No
confirmation, or?
Nope. Because you're basically saying once you turn the turn signal on, that's telling you to go ahead and do it.
If we have a lot of traffic, but if we get a clear spot,
because you can, if you have a clear spot, you can go right back into this lane if you want.
So let's say right here I wanted to change lanes. I just give it the turn signal. I just did the convenience blinker. Does it need to be like a?
It needs to be a full.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. A full, and it does it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, that
feels a lot like Autopilot turn signal.
They really refined the changing lanes and stuff. Like when I first got my Tesla, it was pretty
like robotic almost.
Yeah, it was like it took a very long time, or just did not want to, or try to like merge at the wrong time, or change lanes at the wrong time, or.
So would it stop me like right now if I wanted?
It wouldn't do it. Yeah, it would definitely take the car.
It monitors the cars and everything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
And like this is where both these systems really are in there. Like the huge value add is like this, just like road trips, long commutes, where people do 99% of their driving.
Yeah, that's where they both shine, and that's obviously the ultimate end goal is going to be level 5. But like, both of these systems are so valuable on trips and even any highway driving when you're just constant speed. You have a lane line. Really.
Yeah, I don't know if I've been better about touching the wheel, or it's less.
Yeah,
it's more lax in these situations.
FSD Beta, I think, is more
stringent, and
And you'll notice once now this is where Navigate on Autopilot would end. It would take this exit.
Yeah, and then it's going to transition.
And it's going to exactly. it's going to transition to FSD beta right here. So, and you can tell by the visualization on the screen.
Right.
So now FSD beta is in control. Yeah, so it's seeing these parked cars.
So when it colors them blue, does that mean it's telling you it thinks
it's waiting to see what they're going to do, I think.
Okay, so it's not sure what we take for granted our human.
Now this lane is there's parked cars in this lane, so I don't know if it knows that. Oh, so now you took over. So.
I hit the brake because
okay, good call.
Because like you said, if it was me, I'm immediately going to this lane,
yeah.
and there was a car there. It was thinking to maybe go into the other lane, and but I wouldn't have done that. So,
right.
So my instinct is that it's gonna go out 2 lanes out of the parking lane, and I just rather hit the brake.
And the good thing is, like, every time, see, like that was green. It turned green. Okay.
It turned green last minute, but yeah, it did good.
And we have pedestrians walking. Okay. The good thing is about like just in disengagement is like that's learning. That's what we're teaching the.
Yeah.
It's learning from that. It learns from disengagement. So it's like, oh, something was wrong there.
Okay.
But yeah.
So now we're at our destination. We basically completed a full loop. And now we will
go back to your car.
Autopilot. I'm gonna have to take over just to switch lanes real quick.
So while we go back, do we have any final thoughts about first experience with it?
I was pretty comfortable with it. Like as far as like feeling comfortable disengaging, and I didn't feel like it was being very unpredictable, or you kind of immediately know, you can tell when it seems confused, and that makes you aware of, all right, I need to be ready to, take over if necessary. Because the way it behaves when it's, driving correctly, as soon as it starts getting into a situation, you can tell it's more hesitant, it's like slows itself down, it seems cautious, and it doesn't feel too bad to just let it do its thing and feel comfortable knowing you're going to be able to take over. Because I see a lot of people who talk about, like, are concerned with people testing or using FSD beta, but you're still driving the car.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And if it's doing something you don't want it to do, you can do what I did, like there, and just take over.
Right.
And
you can actually go ahead and enable if you want to. Yeah, you go to enable it now. Just to see, just experience it a little bit on the way back. We only have like less than a mile left. But,
so like here, like normally, like I guess this is fine, but did a little truck turn, like you said. And the turning is strange, but I can't really criticize because Autopilot can't do turns like that really. But it is interesting that it always kind of goes wide to take a turn. And like here, I feel like it's kind of close to that side.
Okay.
It's actually switching lanes, but
yeah, it needs to be in this lane, I think.
But like I don't know the width as well. I'm not, not used to driving it. But it's good it got over because there's street to parking. But yeah.
But this is interesting. I've never seen this before. It might be a little bug. There you go. Now it's
okay.
And here's
have you ever taken it through here, through the...
I've never taken it right.
Through the individual lanes underneath the railroad tracks there?
No, I haven't. And this is always interesting because, like, the other day I was here and it just goes so slow. I had to give it some acceleration.
This is a confusing intersection.
But look how slow it's going.
It's,
like it should just go.
It thinks there's a stop sign straight in front of us.
It's seeing the top one, it's seeing the right one.
Oh, it thinks the overhead stop sign is like a stop sign, like
in front of us. I think there's like 2 back-to-back stop signs. Yeah. That's what I probably thought. But yeah.
It's a confusing intersection, and you don't know the yield.
Yeah, that is.
Didn't know the yield going back that way. No. Do you ever have noticed that sometimes it thinks it wants to go around the traffic that's in front of us here? But it showed, it sees the lane markings too, which is cool. I'm sorry, I did it too much.
Yeah, no,
Well, it's because
totally
I kind of wanted it.
I did the same thing when I first had it.
I wanted it over here, and it's like.
Now watch this.
What? What are we doing? Whoa. That is very odd.
Isn't that weird? It just treats. It did the same thing when we first started the drive. It treats wide turns as like. It puts its turn signal on.
Yeah, it gets confused if that's.
But
just
it turns
sharp corner or a 90-degree
Right.
intersection corner.
It turns into this pretty well though. I did this.
Oh, it'll turn in here.
Yeah, it'll turn right in here.
Oof.
Now it did it way better this morning.
There's more traffic too.
Now let's see how it goes down this.
It wants to go through here. I'm about to take over at this little
You're good.
curve.
You're good. All right, now you can just take over.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Alright, so that was my first time driving a Tesla, first time using Autopilot, and of course first time using FSD Beta. Now for my thoughts on it, overall it felt kind of robotic. It didn't feel natural. It did a lot of things I wouldn't do as a driver, a lot of unnatural characteristics. I mean, it is very good at what it does, but at the same time, it can be very stressful to use. It definitely requires a heightened level of driver awareness, and so I'm not sure when this transitions to a convenience feature so much as a kind of toy or just kind of technological demo or demonstration, because a lot of this doesn't really add value to your day-to-day commute. I know this is a beta, I know they're working to make it better, but it seems like it's a long way away, but at the same time it can kind of do everything, but just not in a way that you could safely rely on. So props to Tesla for continuing forward with this. I'm very excited to see how progress continues, but from what I've heard from other people and kind of my impression, it's nowhere near ready for public release, so I hope they keep the beta kind of more closed off and try and really vet the people who are using it, because when you put this kind of technology in the hands of the general public, you could get some people who have the wrong idea of how it works and what its capabilities are. So I hope Tesla kind of keeps moving this out slowly and gets feedback from the community and tailors who gets FSD beta and who doesn't based on that. But anyway, that's about all I've got for this video. If you like it, please subscribe for OpenPilot content, not so much Tesla content. If you want Tesla content, go over to my friend Andy Sly's video and his channel. He's got a ton of content over there. Be sure to check it out. He makes really great videos. And that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one.